portion of it is we have some adjustable tethers strapped to a tool and across the shield to basically hold it in place at this point. The tethers themselves are meant for a shorter duration outside, so we would like to try and look at some longer term duration permanent fix, which we'll be looking at on STS118 here. Next picture I have for you is what we call a Zeus fastener. These are the fasteners that the STS117 crew and we've tried in the past to put down and had some problems with. It's a little quarter-turn fastener, essentially that up in the upper right picture you'll see it's a little fastener that slides down over a wire and you do a quarter turn on it and it hooks the fastener around the wire. Pretty simple, straightforward thing. The unfortunate part about it is that we tend to break these a few times on orbit when you're working with them in a spacesuit. So the next picture I have for you is the receptacles that those Zeus fasteners actually go into underneath the shield. Some of the additional challenge we face with this is the fact that these receptacles were designed to be movable to allow for placement of the shield and some alignment. Unfortunately, that just creates more challenge for the crew to get the Zeus fastener into the hole without this receptacle moving around on you while you're trying to place the shield down. The next picture I have for you is what we're looking at as an option for trying to possibly wire tie these shields down. One of the problems, as I mentioned, with these Zeus fasteners that we have is when we go out and we try to turn them the quarter turn to install them, we tend to bend them or break them potentially, and it's what we call being splayed, and essentially then the fastener becomes unusable and also potentially keeps the shield stuck on the structure. So what we're looking at doing is if the crew does not feel comfortable that they're going to be able to get these fasteners reinstalled properly, we will look at wire tying the fasteners down in a method such as this. Where we wire tie around the head of the Zeus fastener. The next picture I have for you is just an overview of the GPS antenna itself. This is GPS antenna number 4 that we'll be going after. It's a relatively straightforward antenna removal, 4 bolts and 2 electrical connectors. But I just wanted to show you what a GPS antenna on station looks like since we didn't have it very well shown in the video there. Just as an example, hopefully you'll be able to get a close-up of this. This is the Zeus fastener that we'll be trying to work with during the mission. It has a little section that the crew tries to place around the wire and then do a quarter turn on it. The biggest problem we have is that the little tabs on the ends of the Zeus fastener actually bend back if you don't have it properly aligned and drop down over the wire, it'll actually contact the wire, and then as you try to turn it, it will actually bend, and then the fastener becomes what we call splayed. So that's what we're trying to work over is potentially the STS-117 crew believes one of these fasteners on the lab shield may be splayed. Our crew is going to go out, take a look at it, evaluate the situation, see what we're up against, try to reinstall these fasteners, and if that is not successful, then we will move to the wire tie option. And with the wire tie option, what we're looking at is this is kind of an example of what the shield looks like with a Zeus fastener going through it, and we're essentially just going to take a wire tie, wrap it around the head of the Zeus fastener, and then connect it underneath the shield to the bracket that the Zeus fastener normally would go into, and hopefully permanently tie down the shield at that point. So that's one of the options that we're looking at to go ahead and do that. The last option we have, if for some reason the fasteners and the wire ties don't work properly for us, is to go ahead and use some long duration tie down tethers that we do have in our inventory that we'll be bringing outside with us, and use those instead of the adjustable tethers, which are a shorter duration for exposure outside. And then we'll go ahead and use those long duration tie down tethers to help tie down the shield again with tethers if the wire tie option doesn't work. With that, it kind of completes my summary of the 4 EVAs we'd be doing on STS-118, and I'd be happy to open it up for any questions.
Okay, Paul, thanks a lot. We'll take questions here in Houston, other centers if they're available. Mark?
Mark Harrow from the Houston Chronicle, and what I'm wondering